Hello and welcome back as we finish up week one of the first trilogy month of 2025 with Toy Story 3. So there's a reason why I decided to actually pick the Toy Story franchise to do trilogy month this time around. And it's simply because I've said multiple times that I didn't like Toy Story 3. Prior to this rewatch, I'd only seen it twice. The first time was when it first came out in cinema. I remember actually going to see it. And I thought nothing of it. I thought it was okay. Compared to the first two, it's the weakest one. And I still stand by that statement. That it's Toy Story 3 is the weaker one of the original trilogy. Comparing it with 4, I'm still going to say 4 is better than 3. Now, granted, I've only seen 4 once, so I'll have to rewatch 4 at a different time, at a different point to do that. But I still kind of think that it should have finished with 2. It should have been a duology instead of a trilogy. And I get what they were doing. I get the story that they were, telling about, you know, growing up and, Andy's growing up and the toys needing to accept that he's not going to play with them anymore. And we see the multiple attempts at, we see one of the attempts of of them trying to get Andy to play with them, see them and think back to when he was a kid and want to play with them when they nick his phone. Um, obviously that fails. And then, of course, he goes to put most of those, of the toys that are what are left from over the years, up into the attic. But of course, that doesn't happen. They accidentally almost get thrown out, and so the toys escape and go to be donated to a daycare, and that's where the whole thing kicks off, where they get put into the caterpillar room. They get with kids that are too young to fully understand how to take care of playing with toys, and so they want to move on to a up to where the kids are more gentler with them, but obviously they can't because Lotso is the big bad of this. And when I first seen the movie, when I rewatched it a few years ago, when I watched all 4 Toy Story films in one sitting, to even a couple of nights ago when I watched it, I think to me just Lotso kind of feels like Stinky Pete from the second film. Obviously, Stinky Pete and Lotso have 2 completely different backstories. Stinky Pete was the last toy to be bought, never opened, never played with, where Lotso felt that he was abandoned and replaced by his kid. After traveling all the way back home to see that Daisy had a new Lotso. And so eventually they make their way to, the daycare and set it up to be the way that it is, where toys start off at the lowest rank. They had to deal with the little kids, and maybe they'll progress upwards. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I just even when I watched this in cinema back in 2010, I think I would have been about 12 or 13 when it came out. That the ending scene, where they're almost incinerated. I didn't feel anything for that. And I know that's going to shock a lot of people because that scene is what caused a lot of people to get teary eyed over that bit where they accept their death, that the toys are going to die, that they think for a split second that they're going to die before they get saved, and so forth. I didn't then. I still haven't in the 2 other times that I've seen it. I get that it's an emotional scene, but for me, um, it just didn't do it for me. That they're definitely, well. See, that's just me. Like I don't cry a lot at movies or TV shows. I can count on my hand, my singular hand the amount of times I cried at something. You know, the very first time was with the season one finale of Star Trek Picard. Then it was the tribute that they done for Sarah Jane from Doctor Who. And then the third time was the series finale of Supernatural. And I'm sure there might be like one or two other instances where different media almost got me, you know. Um, but yeah, I just didn't feel all that emotional. But I will say this, and it's probably the same with, you know, Empire Strikes Back, another movie that I do not like. The more times I think I rewatch it, I like it that bit more. You know, when I finally finished the film, I was like, man, it wasn't as bad as I remember it, but I still prefer Toy Story 2, because that's just the better one out of the entire trilogy, and the original Toy Story over Toy Story 3. And as I said, I do like Toy Story 4 because I get what they were doing with Toy Story 4, and I get what way they were leaving, uh, Woody, essentially having him retire from always trying to be there for Andy, and then for years, and then doing the same for Bonnie, and now he gets to enjoy life as a quote unquote lost toy. But obviously, we now know that there's a fifth one coming out. They as of filming this, I heard that they just wrapped doing the voicing for it. Did not need a fourth, even though I love it. It did not need a fourth, and it sure as shit does not need a fifth Toy Story film. But hey ho, that's what we have. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll be back on Monday for the next trilogy, which is not necessarily a trilogy. But it technically is a trilogy of sorts. It's the first three Harry Potter films. You know, now that I finished with the Star Wars franchise, from doing the past the three trilogy months, starting off with the original series, then doing the prequels, and then doing the sequels. Something needed to fill that void that has multiple movies in it, and it just so happens Harry Potter is going to be that one. So yeah, I'll see you all on Monday for my review of the Philosopher's Stone. I'll catch you all in the next upload.